If you are a hot girl who has big dreams, who also happens to not have any plan on how they're going to achieve those big dreams, I encourage you to watch this video. This video is for the girls that are procrastinating. You know what? We listen and we don't judge. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to goal set as a procrastinator. Yep, as a fellow hot girl, I also happen to procrastinate. You know what? You can't be hot and not procrastinate. I'm sorry. It's the rules. I don't make the rules. Come sit with me. I won't lash you. I'm going to lovingly teach you how to be an efficient hot girl in just 3 steps. I promise it's going to be short because you probably also have a poor attention span. So come. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Ayanda. I thought of how to make this video and I figured I'm gonna make it a yapathon. I had a script ready and I think it will just make it too serious. And procrastinators don't like things that are gonna hold them accountable. Like if it feels like it's gonna be an assignment, we won't do it. So this is a FaceTime. Think of me as a friend on a video call, just calling you out on your nonsense in a loving way, but also giving you tips on how to get the right things in the right way. In my Oprah Winfrey era, Sana. Look at the glasses. You are getting advice. You are getting advice. Everybody's getting advice. Let's have some water before we begin. I like it when I watch a video and I have something to drink. Or a little snack. So if you want to grab a snack or you want to grab a drink, I highly encourage that you do so. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Before we begin the goal setting yapathon, I wanted to show you some of my favorite products that I've used in February. And you know what? It's going to start to seem like I'm repeating myself. But like I said, I don't want you in the future to be saying, yeah, how did you get there? How did you get there? Get with me. Do what I'm doing now so that later you won't ask me the questions. You know what I mean? Okay, we're going to begin with books that I read this month. We read Beneath the Lion's Gaze by Maza Mengiste, and then Tomorrow I Become a Woman by Aiwanose Odafe. This is a book club read for my adult book club, and this was just a book that I wanted to read because I actually do love this author. She's Ethiopian, and I've noticed I don't read many books by Ethiopian authors. I don't know why. I should probably look into that because it's so different. And you know, when you've read so many books about Nigeria, you feel like you know everything about Nigeria, even if you've never been to Nigeria. So I want to break the streak of just, whenever I look at the list of books that I've read in a year, Nigerian authors always dominate. And they're good, but I'm sure there's others. Like Ivory Coast. I've never read a book about Ivory Coast or by an author from Ivory Coast. And what else? Niger, you know, like I need to, let's just yap about this for a minute. When we say we read African authors, have you noticed that it's always Nigerian authors? Like we gravitate towards Nigerian authors more when we say we're reading books by African authors. And then it's like Nigeria, and then Zimbabwe, and then Ghana. And then we just play around those 3 countries and we're like, we don't read books by Western authors. But then you're just reading books by authors from 3 countries or 2 countries at least. Some people don't even read. You know what? Maybe not the time. I'll have to make a separate video about this because I really want to get out of that space. And I want to expose my brain and my vocabulary and my taste to different African continents and different forms of writing. And I'll work on that, although I've been trying to limit the amount of books that I buy in general, but I'll have to do some research on that. Although also it has been helpful to also dip into Asia. I've read some books by South Korean authors as well as Indian authors that I've enjoyed. Japanese authors, too relaxed. They are too relaxed. Their writing is very, if you want to read a Japanese author, don't go, it's 2 things. You're gonna read the book and go, what the hell is going on? Like, a lot is happening at once. Or you're gonna read a Japanese author and you're gonna feel like, This is the sort of book I want to read when I just want to feel, you know what I mean? You know, Guningi. South Korean authors, delicious. Indian, delicious. Never miss. You get a nice balance between a lot happening, but also the relaxation of reading good writing. You know what I mean? So enough about that. And then 2 products that I've been enjoying. These 2 guys, I rave about these products ever since I went to Sentence City, and this lady mixed these 2 inside a little compartment thingy and then said, my life has been changed. My skin has never been the same. This is the testimony. Major 2. Not even major 1, major 2. So this is the SPF50 from Woolworths Beauty Complete Shield. But you know what? I don't like that they only come in these sizes. At some point I'm going to ditch the sunscreen, and then I'm going to use a bigger sunscreen. But this, I don't know a supplement for this one. A replacement for this one. So this is a glow concentrate with 2% squalane and vitamin C. So good. The lady mixed them both in one tub and then said that I should apply it to my face every day. And let me tell you, the glow is not lying. I've been glowing like I have money, which is what I'm aiming for. So these are the 2 products that I've been enjoying. There's a perfume that I've also been enjoying, but I'm also like lazy to go get it. Would you blame me if I don't show you the perfume? It was also a gift from Dubai as well. So the process of going to get it, like when you want to buy it, it would probably be a hassle. So let's ignore it. But if you feel offended that I didn't mention the perfume, let me just grab the perfume, guys. Why would I be lazy after I've just tried to make a video to encourage people to not be lazy? You know, let's go get the perfume. I don't know what it's called. Wait, I know the name. It's from the Violet collection. It's number 4. And I received this as a gift from a friend that had traveled to Dubai. So, and it smells different from what I usually like, but it's very musky as well. I didn't even check the nose, but I like that I can smell the musk. And musk reminds me of my father. Everything musk, I love. Inject it in my veins. I love musk. Anyway, so that's all that I've been up to in terms of things that have excited me this month. So we're gonna get into the video. Grab your snack and then let me check my notes, because I don't want to be yapathoning too much. I need some structure to this discussion. Okay, hot girl? Thank you very much. Come. To achieve what you need to achieve in terms of your dreams, we're gonna need a 3-pot. You know, we've been talking about the 2-pot system in South Africa. I want a 3-pot. You know, the 3-pot that makes the delicious stew. We're not going to be cooking some stew today, although the stew from that pot does actually bang. Have you all had stew from that pot? Like, if you've never had stew from this pot, have you even had stew in your life? It's so good. It's so delicious. Anyway, I'm getting hungry. We are not going to be cooking stew today, but you're going to need the pot. And this pot is where you're going to be cooking all of the dreams that you're having, all of the grand dreams that you have. They're going to need to stand on 3 legs. So the cooking will have to have balance. 3 legs to make the pot in which you'll be cooking your grand dreams. Leg number 1, which is honestly leg number 1, which is my favorite which is my favorite leg, is the honesty leg, which is also honestly my favorite leg. Because on this leg, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to introspect. Some of you know that I've done a vision board at one of my book club trips, and part of the reason that I've continued to make other plans, other vision boards, as well as a mind map, which is what I posted on Facebook and which people appreciated, and which is what inspired this video. Part of the reason I still made other plans after I had made that initial vision board last year in November is because I knew that I had been in a public space doing a vision board with people, so I was unable to just sit with myself and be honest with myself. Those things that I put in that vision board were true and were things that I want to achieve at some point, but I realized that I didn't have time to sit down with my thoughts and to realize within me, my brain, my heart, what is it that I actually want and what is it that I can actually achieve. So within the honesty lake, you're going to have to ask yourself 3 questions. What do you want? What do you have? And what can you do? I'll repeat. What do you want? What do you have? And what can you do? And you need to be honest with yourself, because after you answer those questions honestly, you're going to be able to see on a realistic level what you can achieve within the space that you're in and what you can incorporate in your life to be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. So the honesty lake prevents you from setting unrealistic goals that will overwhelm you to the point of no action. So you need to reflect. What do I want? I want to drive a Porsche. What do I have? I have 50 rand in my bank account. What can you do? I can go to my job where I earn 6,000 rands per month at the moment. And I'm not saying this to undermine anyone's experience, but to show you examples of how you can be honest in the discussion. And almost everyone that I know is either a student, has just entered their first job, or is unemployed. These people are people that earn different amounts of money. And all of us, I think I can speak for all of us to say we have grand plans. But it's also important to be honest about where we are in life. Most of us live in the village, we live in the townships, you understand? So, and this is why I also don't usually read self-help books or financial advice books by men that live in Silicon Valley or in New York, because they don't know my experience as a Black African woman who lives in a township or a town that's not necessarily a first or world-class town, or a woman that is from a village, for an example. And also, quite honestly, someone that looks the way that I do. So yeah, we live the lives that we live, and we have grand plans. But you won't parachute to your grand plans. You have to have like a step-by-step guide to how you're going to get to those grand plans. And from the perspective of African girls that look like me and you, who want to live the sort of life that we deserve, that is grand and beautiful and benefits all that is around, everyone that is around us, we need to be realistic in terms of planning for those grand plans. Also, so that we can be able to sustain that grandness when it does happen. Okay? Yeah. So what do you want? You want this. What do you have? You have this. And what can you do? What can you do is the most important question as well, because you can realize that, okay, I want this thing. It's very big and it's very expensive, or it's difficult. And what do you have? I have 70 rand in my bank account. But what can you do? You find that you are actually a very hardworking and resilient person. So in terms of what you can do, let's say for an example, let's also pause on the money question as well, because although money is important, sometimes it's also important to also be a fulfilled person within your life, to live a life that is able to sustain you beyond a price tag. Because as we all know as well, we're African. We are some of the hardest working people in the world, and even within that hard work, we're still some of the poorest people in the world. So perhaps when we goal set as well, we must also goal set beyond the money, like in terms of our mental health, our spirituality, and our community. What are our goals in terms of those? How often can you see your friends? How often can you see your family? Because sometimes if you're always on the grind, you may also just get so lonely and so depressed by the grind, because it's not as easily rewarding as it may seem. Like you can have the grand plan, but you're also a woman, or you're also a Black person, and you're also African. So no matter how hard you work, the reward won't be the same as, say, if someone that didn't look like you were to apply the same effort. So sometimes also try to goal set within other things that can also fulfill you, so that as you go towards those grand plans, you're also getting positive energy back from things that are going to appreciate your hard work, such as community, your spirituality, friendship, those sort of things, as well as eating well and taking care of your body. So don't only goal set financially, goal set for other areas as well, so that you can be strong enough and have the willpower to want to go for those dreams, because it will not be easy. And part of the reason that we goal set is to try to have a step-by-step guide to get to our dreams. But the honest truth is that even within that step-by-step guide, people don't tell you that the way you look, where you come from, is going to influence where you get there. How you get there. How you get there. It's going to influence how you get there. But, because I look the way that I do and I know the things that I know by experience and also, unfortunately, by forced experience, I think that it's important that I tell you this. Let's plan, but let's also be realistic in terms of where we are, And some people that like the gospel of you're going to be successful tomorrow as long as you have a vision board are going to hate this chat. But I'm not here to coddle you and to give you a false hope. We look the way we do, it's going to affect how we show up in the world. It's going to affect how people see us. It's going to affect how people translate our hard work. And, it's okay. I'm fine with it. Most Black people that I know are fine with it. The question now is, how do we, in our collective way, support one another and to teach each other how to get to places where we're not allowed to enter without even the sign that says no Blacks allowed. But how do we get to those places? And how do we support one another? But also, how do we become honest, the honesty leg? How do we become honest about the journey there? You're going to have grand plans. You're going to pass matric. You're going to go to university. You're going to enter corporate. But what is life going to be like for a Black woman in corporate South Africa? Those are the chats that I hopefully hope that this video will be able to facilitate, and perhaps maybe in the future as well we can keep having these conversations to say this is who we are and this is where we want to get. But between where we are and who we are and where we want to get and who we will be when we get there, what happens in between that? Another thing that I want to caution you against is to just have this grand plan of, I want to make 1 million in a year without a solid plan on how you're going to get that 1 million. Some people have a tendency of saying, well, I have a business, or I'm going to start a business. Now, let us be realistic, because business as well is something that needs honesty in terms of the product that you're selling and how much you think you're going to be making from the product that you're selling. So if you're saying you have a business, how much did you make last year? If you made, let's say, 4,000 last year, what about you making 4,000 last year is saying that it's a realistic growth to move from 4,000 rands to 1 million rands? I'm really curious to know that, because I don't see how and I know sometimes on TikTok and social media we see these people with overnight success where somebody posts a dress and then somehow there's 500,000 orders of that dress. But those moments, they're so rare that we can even recall them. Do you understand? Most business owners don't go from selling 200 units to selling 7 million units. It's a step-by-step process. But also, if you are someone that does not have a business and you're hoping to start a business and then make 1 million rands a year, you're also being unrealistic, because you don't know what you don't know. You'd have to first start the business and then see your odds, calculate realistically, and also see what product you're making, how long it's going to take to produce that product, how will people react to that product, etc., etc. It's not an easy thing. Don't be delusional. And also, in fact, people that are moving from 50 rand to wanting to have 1 million in a year, I'm convinced are just going to commit crime. And if you commit crime through the three-legged pot system that I've just came up with, let me know if it was a success. I'll have to come back here and tell people that someone has successfully committed a crime with my three-legged pot system, but I'll try not to mention your name. Anyway, so if you're a business owner, my advice as a fellow business owner is improve your product. Improve the experience of your product. And I'm a new business owner, but with the books that I've read and my experience with business is that when you focus on making a good experience with your product, the money follows the experience. So don't chase the money, chase the experience. Do what you do with your product, and then the money will follow. Because if you chase the money, you're going to neglect the product because you're not focusing on what it feels like to have your product. You're focusing on what you can get for your product. Hope that makes sense. This is not a business masterclass. Maybe in 5 years. Leg 2 of how to goal set for success is to write. I know. Yeah, I can't write. I'm not a writer. Guys, you don't have to be a writer to write. Just as you don't have to be a singer to sing. For an example, I sing. I'm a singer. Wait. Yo. Now I'm spreading lies. Guys, that's a lie. You don't have to be a singer to sing and you don't have to be a writer to write. But there's just some people that are good at that they end up making money from it. Where now you're writing for you. You're not writing for consumption here, but to buy 500,000. So think to yourself, sit down, pen and paper. The reason I don't want to make this a vision boarding video or a mind map goal setting video is that I know that the reason you're watching this video today in February is because you failed to do a vision board. Why did you fail to do a vision board? Because it's a lot of work. And if you're a procrastinator, you don't want to be cutting stuff. You're impatient. You don't want to be coloring, making stuff look good so that, and also just the fear of knowing you could do all of that work and still not achieve anything. So here's a simple way to do something such as goal setting. Just take a pen and a paper. After the reflection, in fact, during the reflection, during the honesty leg, this is where you're going to be writing things down. You're going to be answering those questions. You write your answers to what you have, what you can do, what you want. And then now you write your plans. What are you going to be doing? I'm going to be exercising. How are you going to be exercising? You can't just say exercise. Or if you do just say exercise, maybe you can write a goal to say, I'm going to move my body. How do you move your body? One day you can decide to dance. Watch a video on YouTube of someone dancing, those classes where people are dancing, and then you dance. Or you decide to go on a walk. Or you decide to go on a run. Or you go to gym. That would have been moving your body, if that is the goal. Where you don't want to limit yourself. Maybe you're someone that really just hates repeating something. Then just make a goal of move your body every single day. Meaning that today you may go on a walk, tomorrow you may do yoga, and another day you may stretch. As long as you commit to moving your body, that is a realistic goal. If you are someone that has never run a day in their life and you say, I'm going to run the Comrades Marathon, that is your goal. You write it down. You say, run the Comrades Marathon 2025. You can train for the Comrades Marathon, but if you've never ran it or have never trained for any form of marathon, it won't make sense to put the Comrades Marathon down as a goal that you must do in 2025. You're bound to fail. It's too big of a goal for someone that has not even run 5 kilometers. In fact, I think to qualify for the Comrades Marathon, you have to run other smaller marathons. Let's be realistic, okay? I said I'm not gonna lash you, but I'm getting frustrated just thinking about how also I would have done this in the past. In fact, I have done this in the past where I set this goal that is just like, for an example, I had a thing where I wanted to travel. At the time, I was not making any income, but I had wanted to go to Bali. And I had a picture of Bali in the vision board. And it's not a bad thing. But when timing, like I could have a picture of Bali on my wardrobe and just say one day, wakushish, so that when whatever I do now, when I get employment, I start to think, okay, is it now the time to save for Bali? Maybe I can save for Bali for 5 years. It's fine. Nobody's rushing me. But to say today in February, set a goal, and then I'm going to Bali in August. August to Bali. Mind you, I don't have a passport. I don't have secure employment. Or if I have secure employment, all of the money that I make within that employment goes to my studies, for an example. How am I going to achieve Bali? I'm going to go to Bali maybe, and then I'm going to be stranded there, and then I'm going to be asking for money from you on Facebook because I can't return back. Let's have proper preparation. And let's also be realistic in terms of what we can do. So when you write down, part of the things that I love about writing things down is that it makes your dreams come out of you. You know, when it's like in your head you have many tabs open and you're thinking about, oh, I need to jog, or I need to feed the cat, or I need to call my mother. When you write it down, you relieve yourself of the pressure from your brain of everything that you must do. But the good thing about also writing it down is that you also memorize it. Your body memorizes it, your hand memorizes it, your brain memorizes it. But also the thing exists outside of you. And then which is one of the ways that you can see that what you want is possible, because you would have written it down and it would have existed on a piece of paper. One of my favorite verses that I lived with since last year is Habakuk 2 verse 2, which talks about writing down the vision. You have to write down the vision. And I should probably set a link to a video that Zonaka did, a lady called Zonaka, on Instagram. I'll have to go far for it to post a lot of videos. In the video, she was explaining the book of the story in Habakuk 2 verse 2. And she was explaining the importance of writing things down from a perspective of a Christian. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to link it in the bio. Please check it out. It completely changed my perspective. And I've always been someone that writes things down. But when I realized that after I had heard that sermon from Zonaga and I started writing things down with the belief that not only can God hear me when I speak, but God can also read what I write. When I write to say, these are my expectations, these are my dreams, God is able to see that, wow, these are the desires of my child's heart, and then make it happen. The most important leg. And I feel like I said the same thing about all of the other legs, but let's go back to the Bible. James 2 verse 26 speaks against having faith without works. Meaning, it's not enough to have faith in something, you have to work at it. Apply pressure, apply pressure. That is how you get to achieve your dreams. You can be as confident as any other person, but if you don't apply yourself, what is that saying about the most talented person versus the hardworking person? You can be talented, but if you don't do the work, it's pointless. And you find someone that is hardworking, that is constantly applying themselves, becoming more successful than the talented person, because the talented person does not work. So the confidence, the faith, all means nothing if you're not going to apply yourself. It's not rocket science. If you want better academic results, you're going to create a study timetable and you're going to stick to it. You're going to find extra resources and then you're going to study them. If you want to learn to drive, you're going to go to driving school and you're going to practice your driving. If you want a better relationship with your spouse, you're going to see how you speak to your spouse and you're going to restructure how you say your words, or you're going to change your attitude when they speak to you, or you're going to change your attitude when you are having an argument, or you're going to start to be more generous. You're going to have to put in the work in what you want to see as a success. And you know, some of you are going to say, well, if I want to drive, I could just buy a driver's license. Having a driver's license does not mean that you can drive. That's not what it means. You can have a driver's license and be a horrible driver. So if you want to learn to be a good driver, you're going to have to practice to drive. So it applies with everything, every single thing that you want to do. And I feel like it's something that we should all know, but the older we get with all of the responsibilities we have, we start to undermine just how much work everything takes. Good friendships take work. Me, for example, I have committed myself to having good friendships. Good friendships to me means friendships where we can communicate openly, friendships in which I feel safe, and friendships which I will feel are pouring into me. What that means is that I must also be the sort of friend that also pours into people and speaks life into people and holds people accountable. But then I'd also have to do that within myself as well, as an individual, in order for me to show up as that sort of a friend. And because I do that, sometimes when I have tension or some awkward moments with my friends and I explain to them how uncomfortable I am in whatever scenario we're in, they're able to receive it with grace because they know that I also extend the same thing to them. So if you are feeling like your marriage is failing, for an example, but are always pointing at the other person and thinking, oh, but unless it's absolutely abhorrent behavior and they are violating you, for an example, and or are abusing you. I'm not referring to that. If you are in a situation where you're unsafe, cut it off. But if it's a situation where you feel, oh, they're being selfish, so I'm just going to be selfish, or they're not communicating, so I'm just not going to communicate. That's not how it works. If someone that you love does not know how to communicate, you are going to have to lovingly teach them how to communicate, because this is someone that you love. You can't just discard people, guys. This is the thing also about social media, where, you know, there's this gospel of teaching people to just cut people off. You can only cut so many people off until you are just left alone and you have no genuine connection. So if you exist in the real world where you have to give people chances, and where you would expect to be given chances when you err, then you also have to take responsibility to teach. And it's a slippery slope, because sometimes we're told, no, you can't teach everyone everything, people are adults and whatever. But all of us know, as a parent, you know, and I'm not even comparing adult people in relationships to children, but this is a perfect example to say that even within a parental relationship, even as adult children, you still have situations where your parents are correcting you in a loving way. Why? Because they love you and you are theirs, and they can't cut you off. And you didn't give birth to your wife, but you should also probably just shape them into the person that you want to live with, because you love them and you sort of did say that you want to spend forever with them. So forever to death or forever to divorce, try to make that transition to wherever you're heading with that person to be as comfortable as possible. And it won't always work, but for the sake of your peace of mind and for a happy household, you should probably also just be a bit more patient and just teach the people how you want to be communicated with. People are not born knowing how each and every person should be treated. We exist in a society. Society gives us standards of how to treat one another. You can't go around slapping people. It's not okay. And then when you enter a household, there should also be other standards within the household to say, in this household, we pray before we eat. In this household, we don't sleep without saying good night. In this household, we apologize. Those are things that the standard everywhere you go. The standards in the country, the law. And then you go to church, there's something. You go to school, there's something. But every place that you enter and you're going to be interacting with people will be having its own rules and regulations. That is why even in your intimate relationships where you feel like our motto, now they're just being really nonsensical, you still have to have the leniency to go, you know what, they're from a different place, you know. Maybe they didn't hug them at home, you know, and they just think they can just walk out of the door without saying, bye, I love you, you know. Then you have to lovingly teach them, hey, these are my expectations. That is the action to a successful relationship, in my opinion. It could be different to you. We live different lives, but try to find what a successful relationship for you looks like. A successful life, a successful body, a successful mental health, and then you act. The work of the action is the most uncomfortable, which is where people end up giving up. Okay, so that is the end of my 3-legged pod system that I'm hoping to also incorporate in my own life. Let me know if you incorporated. 3 months, do a review every quarter, or every 2 months or every month. As I've said in my other videos, I'm doing monthly checkups with myself to see how far I'm going with my plans and where I'm failing. I have a meeting at 11. Oh, I need to go. Let me wrap this up nicely. Thank you so much for watching. I had made a post on I have flu. I had made a post on Facebook asking people to let me know if they have any questions about goal setting. If those questions exist, I'm gonna incorporate them in my vlog, because I'm running out of time filming this video. I have 2 meetings that I have to attend today. Fortunately, my 11 a.m. meeting is just 2 kilometers from where I am, so I'm gonna arrive right at 11 o'clock. Thank God I'm already dressed. So thank you so much for watching my vlog. I hope that I was able to help you have some structure in terms of how you can goal set. and I'm excited to see how this will pan out for you. Please let me know, leave a comment if you have any question. If you have any other suggestion, also leave it in the comment. I'll try to add the verses that I've spoken about, as well as the link to the Instagram video that I spoke about, in the description box below. And I love you, I really do. All the best with your life this year, you guys. Let's just keep pushing, okay? Keep trying all of the time. And I'll see you next week. Bye.